What is up, guys? This is a RLCS power rankings video. We're going to be going over where I put all the teams in RLCS, where do I rank them, and I'll be going in depth as to why I believe they belong in the spot that I put them in. I'll be making two top 10s, one for North America and one for Europe. I won't be trying to say who I think is better across the region. So as always, if you guys do enjoy, make sure to subscribe for more content. We've been getting a shitload of subs recently, which is awesome. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the stuff that I've been making, and without further ado, let's get right into it. So number 10, dead last. We'll start from the bottom. Who do I have dead last for North America? Probably not going to come as a surprise, but it might still offend some people. We got Cloud9. Cloud9, I mean, some of the worst two games I've ever seen coming out of them. They just got smacked by United, who have proven to not be a good team. United are just kind of like that mid-range team, so nothing special coming out of them, and United blew them away. They struggled heavily against the Rogue, but I feel like the two games that they did take off a Rogue were kind of more lucky. Like, Squishy got a lucky pinch goal off of Wonder, and they won the game that way. It was just, there was really never a time where I truly thought that Cloud9 looked good against any team, and it's been 2 seasons now they've been playing this way, so I just have them dead last. Next, I have Flight, and this is because Flight have shown that they do have a potential for offense. In their game against Pittsburgh Knights, they should have beat Pittsburgh Knights. But they threw the game, and that's why they're still a low tier team, because they can't finish the games that they should win. They couldn't close it out. If they closed out that game, completely different story. And I do think that Flight is going to lose to most other teams, except maybe the team I have in the 8th place spot, which is E United. E United, they just don't look good, man. They looked good against Cloud9, but it was a pretty terrible showing against Ghost. Ghost smacked them. United really just looked like they were being outpaced, and the win that they had against Cloud9 doesn't really help their case, because as I said, I believe Cloud9 to be the worst team in North America, so they should be winning a game against them. So I have United down there. The 7th place spot, I have Rogue. Now this means that yes, I do believe that Rogue will qualify for RLCS Season 10, but that's probably the most that they will do. Rogue is kind of a weird team, because since they're so new as a team, I feel like they have potential to continue to learn how to play together better, and maybe even pop off more during the season, and maybe take a few extra places against the 5th and 6th place teams. They're definitely more of a, will they figure something out? Will they not? I still think that the biggest thing is Wonder. Wonder did not play good either week. They almost lost against Cloud9 because Wonder did not play well at all. If Wonder could fix his issues, they'll be a better team. But from everything I've seen so far, this is where I'd put them. The number 6th place spot, we have Sonics, which, you know, they surprised us. They really did. 2 games off of NRG. We thought it was a fluke. Then they beat Space Station Gaming, and they beat them 3-1. It was convincing. You don't beat the projected number 2 seed in North America unless you're a good team, right? That's not a fluke. Like, they took arguably the top 2 teams in North America, and they made work of them. They're currently sitting at 4th place in all of North America. However, I don't think that will last. I think some of the other top teams will beat them. However, I can see Sonics beating the rest of the lower teams if they can continue to play how they've been playing. Shock was looking like one of the best players in North America. Crazy. This guy just came out of nowhere, and he's been spanking people. So credit to them. Then right above them, I have Pittsburgh Knights, which I can see Pittsburgh Knights falling a little more than this if maybe teams like Rogue and Sonic start to pick it up. But Pittsburgh Knights not looking too good with the AJ move. I think Mist was a much better player on their roster. They had an unconvincing win against Flight, and then they had a convincing loss to G2. Which means I would definitely put them in the middle. And if they can't fix their, being a little bit shaky, then they might fall a little bit more. I cannot see Pittsburgh Knights being any better than the 5th place spot, though, because the 4th place team, Ghost Gaming, looked incredible. When Atomic pops off, you can't beat them. I mean, unless you're a top tier team, but this is definitely the best we've seen from Ghost ever in the, 4 or 5 seasons now they've been in RLCS. I've never I've never been excited to see a Ghost match, right? Usually it's boring, it's stale, it looks like a Cloud9 match right now. But no, Ghost. Atomic is a mechanical genius. Illusion going for these crazy plays. A mid-air bump that's like 5 feet from the ceiling. Like, who does that? They're really an entertaining team to watch because they're a little more out there. It's a play style that I think is very unique to them. And I think it really works for them. They just work really well together, so I like it. And now this is where some people might start to question my opinions, but I'll explain what I think, and then you guys can yell at me in the comments below. Number 3, Space Station Gaming. I'll be honest, I would have had them higher, but after that loss to Sonic, it was a pretty convincing loss. They got smacked 3-1. Again, credit to Sonic, but Space Station, if you are going to be a top team in North America, then that means you don't lose. And Space Station, it really showed what their flaws were, right? Just a lot of problems coming out with that team. It was made very clear in the game against Sonics, and if they're going to lose the game against Sonics, then now I can also see them losing maybe against the Knights. But they did beat Ghost Gaming. Again, that was a convincing win as well, so that's why I have them at number 3, because it seems like that they're just a little bit inconsistent. You don't know what you're going to get out of them in that certain week. Now, number 2 spot, and remember, before you guys start screaming at me in the comment section down below, I'm going off of results from this season, right? Because all that matters really is what we've seen so far from these teams. In the offseason, there was no tourneys to go off of, really. It's just what we see. So number 2 spot, I have NRG. This means I think that by the end of the season, NRG will be number 2. And that's because, one, I think they're a really fucking good team and they deserve the number 2 spot. But we did see them play very shaky against a team like Sonics. I truly don't think that Sonics has played very well against them. I think that NRG played very well against themselves. And I don't want to try to take credit away from Sonics for actually putting up that much of a fight, but it should have been a 3-0 or at least a 3-1. 2 games were lost because of own goals, and that also brings me to saying that I think that if NRG is gonna play shaky like this, then they won't stand a chance against G2 esports, who have just looked like an absolute colossal other fucking domination type of team. I have no words to describe it, but their offense is just, it's a demonic. Just watching the amount of shots and the amount of pressure they've been putting on people, it's been scary. And they did it against Pittsburgh Knights, who was projected to be, again, a ranked 4 team in North America. They were a pretty good team, and they got smacked. The way G2 is playing right now is, in my opinion, better than Grand Finals G2 of Season 7. I cannot see them losing. It doesn't matter how many shots they miss, which is their only flaw, if they only play offense, right? If you don't play defense, you're not going to get scored on, and that's kind of how G2's been playing. This is what I think that by the end of the season, this is where the rankings will fall. Now, again, it's probably going to be a little different because there's always going to be that team that shows up and always that team that disappoints. And honestly, I like it better that way. I love how Sonics came in, and it was so interesting to watch them. You didn't expect anything from them, but I love watching teams like Sonic, Ghost Gaming. It's been a very interesting season so far. Now let's get into Europe. We'll start at the very bottom. Who do I think is the worst team in Europe? For the last team, I have Endpoint. Endpoint, they only have 1 total win of the season, and it was against Singularity, another team that looks to be one of the bottom teams. They just don't look good at all. Nothing really much to say. They don't look like they ever put up a fight. They just look bad. Number 9, AS Monaco Esports. Now, the reason I don't have this team dead last is because they at least put up a tiny bit of a fight against Dignitas and Mouse, right? They took a game, which is more than some people expected them to take, but at the end of the day, they just looked bad. It looked like it was just freelo for those teams. If it looks like you can't even put up a fight, then it's probably because you can't put up a fight and you're a bottom tier team. Number 8, TSM. Now, the reason I don't have this team dead last, being auto-relegated, is because, well, TSM looks a little bit better this season than they have last season. They played well against Dignitas, which credit to them. It's hard to play well against Dignitas, but I think Dignitas also was a little bit shaky the first week. Then they came out dominant the second week. So I really don't want to make that seem like it's a great accomplishment going 2-3 against Dig, because I don't think Dig was playing very well. They were playing like a Veloce that day. You know, I just don't think TSM has what it takes to keep their spot in the RLCS. Then Team Singularity. I gotta give it to Singularity. I mean, they beat Vitality. The pick with Alpha 54 was a terrible pick. Alpha does not mesh well with the team. When they need him to step up, he's off doing his own thing. He just can't perform. And yeah, but Singularity, I can see Singularity taking games off maybe some higher, some better teams. I can see them maybe beating like FC Barcelona. But yeah, Team Singularity. And then at number 6, I have Veloce. Veloce had a convincing win against TSM, who I said was a bottom tier team, and then barely lost to FC Barcelona in a very fun match to watch. Being able to put up a fight against a team like FC Barcelona, being able to beat the teams you should beat, and then maybe struggle against the teams that you might not beat, you know, I'll give you that middle spot, Veloce, all right? It means you're not a terrible team, but you can still do better. I don't think they'll be making LAN. After that, we have Renault Vitality. Now, I would have had them higher, but Vitality looked terrible against Singularity. I did talk about Vitality before. Their pick with Alpha, I'm not a fan of it. We expect much better things from K-Dot, the second greatest Rocket League player to ever live after Turbo Pulse, of course, and then Fairy Peak also up there. He's the GOAT of ones. You know, they have so many big names on that team. I think it just doesn't mesh well. You know, if you took a team like Justin, JNaps, and Sipical, there's no guarantee that that team would be great, right? Because threes really does depend on how you mesh well together. You don't just take the top 3 individual players at the game and put them together. That's just not how it works. It will obviously be a good team, but it won't be the best team. It might not be the best team. And this is what I think about Vitality. I think they're all amazing players, top 10 players in Europe, all of them. I just don't think they mesh well. I haven't seen it, so I have to put them at the number 5 spot. And then above them, I have FC Barcelona. Dude, when Flakes pops off, this team looks nuts. Flakes and Ranaki are both have the ability to 1v3 dribble people. I mean, they look great. I don't have any choice words to say about Barcelona. I believe that they're going to be going to Worlds. And then we have Mouse Sports coming in at number 3. Scrubkilla, my opinion, best player in Europe. I mean, he's a very, very good asset to the team. I think he meshes very well with Cookser. Him and Cookser being that duo, that Scrubkilla being the person who opens up the opportunities for Cookser to score. I think that when they play it like that and have speed sit back and worry about defense, their team really shines. I mean, Scrubkilla can just do it all. He just needs that teammate to finish, and Cookser is just so accurate. His shot placement is like no other. I think he has some of the best shot placement in all of Rocket League. The way Cookser finishes balls are they're perfect. He's the most accurate player in my opinion. And let's go up to number 2. I have Dignitas. They are fucking demons on the field. These guys, when they're playing well, they're unstoppable. And here's what's funny about Dignitas. They don't win based off of having that one mechanically good player, which is kind of the meta. Dignitas just plays very solid Rocket League. They have really good passing plays. They have really good speed to the ball, and it just, when you're watching them play, it looks like you can't beat them. And I want to be completely fair. I didn't put Dig at number 2 because I think Reciprocity is better. I think that Dig and Reciprocity are exactly the same when it comes to skill. I think that Dig and Rec are both just monster teams, and it was so hard for me to put one above the other. It really was. But the reason I put Rec above Dig is because I think that all the players on Rec are like Dignitas. They're just monsters on the field. But I think that when Shawzet is really popping off, he gives their team that little bit of a mechanical edge that Dignitas might not have. Because I also think that it is a good thing to have a player who's very mechanically gifted and who can really open up an opportunity, right? There's no one on Dignitas that I look at and I say they are definitely the player that creates openings. They all create openings in their own right, but it's not like for going for a double flip reset outplay or ceiling pinch, you know, something like that. I think that Shazette is definitely that player that I would say is able to do that. He's always has that guaranteed outplay, right? You have that player that you know is gonna always outplay. Because with Dig, remember the first week that they Dig's first week against TSM, they were looking shaky. No one was really able to step up. When their rotations were looking a little scuffed, you didn't have that one player who could just say, okay, screw rotations. I'm gonna go for a cool little flip reset and try to outplay them, and we'll work that way, right? That's how NRG is. If it's not working on rotations or something like that, Justin will just start flip resetting, and he creates openings that way. I think that Dignitas would benefit from having a player that I think every team would benefit from having a player that can create openings in a mechanically gifted way, or a really cool mechanical way. I think that is just a very good tool to have, that player on the team who can do something like that. And I think that that's what gives Reciprocity the tiny bit of an edge over Dignitas. So I think that if both teams were playing the best they ever have, I think Rec would barely win. I think that Shazette just would be that difference maker. Again, I still do have a lot of problems with Shazette. Shazette is not always in the past known to be a consistent player. I'm really looking for more consistency from him throughout this season before I can really say with certainty that they are gonna be a dominant team in Worlds, because they did not have a good Worlds performance last season, and that all came down to Shazette not performing. But yep, that has been a top 10 videos. So please tell me, what did you not agree with? Leave a hateful comment in the comment section down below. But remember, if you offend me, I will report you to the police for hate speech. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm not a little bitch. Say whatever the fuck you want. Believe me, I know I've offended most of you people out there by now. At this point, the only people who are left are the ones who don't give a fuck, just like me, so thank you guys for sticking around to the end. It says the video is 26 minutes right now, but I'm gonna cut that down. That's gonna be cut down to like 20 minutes. Hopefully less. I hate making videos longer than 20 minutes. It takes me like 2 hours to render that shit, and then who wants to sit through that? Like, let's be honest. Sometimes I can't even find 20 minutes out of my day to record a video. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys. Peace.